Hello, good morning. How are we all doing? Right then, good morning. Welcome to National University Week, brought to you by Career Map Media Group. For those of you who haven't seen me yet this week, my name is Heather. I'm from Career Map. I will be one of the hosts for the session. And for this morning's session, I'm joined by Stephen and a team of student ambassadors from the University of Warwick. So the team will be telling you all about life and studying at Warwick, and will very much be on hand to answer any of your questions from the perspective of a current student, which I think is particularly powerful, to be honest with you. Just before I hand over, I will do a bit of housekeeping. A lot of you have already found the chat box. Kelsey, Asha, Miley, Josh, hello. But for those of you who haven't, it's on the right-hand side of your screen, and please submit any questions into this as we go along. And what we'll do is, towards the final part of the session, we will collate your questions and do a bit of a Q&A discussion with Stephen and the ambassadors. Also worth noting that the session is being recorded, so it will be emailed to you, so don't worry about missing out on anything. However, it will be a few days until that lands with you, so if you want anything for the now, just take a screenshot, I would say. But yes, this is my cue to hand over to Stephen and the team, and see you for the Q&A.
Thank you very much, Heather. Hi, everyone. My name is Stephen, and I work at the University of Warwick. It's really nice to be here as part of National University Week. Thanks to Career Map for having us on board. So yeah, great to see you all. Great to see so many of you in the room with us. So in this session, we'll be telling you a bit more about the University of Warwick, and particularly focusing in on student life. And to that end, I have brought 4 of our current students with me this morning. So they're just going to introduce themselves now. Shall we kick off with you, Rachel?
Hi, yes. So hi, everyone. My name is Rachel. I currently study law at the University of Warwick, and I am in my 3rd year.
Awesome. Thank you, Rachel. And can we have Zhao next up?
Hi, everyone. I'm Laura, and I'm in my 2nd year doing law.
Thanks, Laura. And Zhao, over to you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Zhao. I'm doing my accounting and finance, and I'm in my final year.
And last but not least, Shidich.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kshitij. I'm a 3rd year management student. It's nice to meet you all.
Fabulous. You'll be hearing lots more from our students during the course of the presentation. Just before that, though, let me just give you a bit of an overview of who we are. So why Warwick? Well, we are a young, ambitious and enterprising university. We have a constant desire to challenge convention and to create something new. And I think that really sets us apart from our competitors. We're relatively young, just over 50 years old. That is young by UK university terms. But I think it's fair to say that we've come a long way in a relatively short space of time. So today we're firmly established as one of the top universities in the UK. And that reputation extends throughout the world, as you can see from the global rankings on screen now. And yes, rankings are important, but I think it's the experience we can offer you as a Warwick student that's far more important than any league tables. And that's what we really want to give you a flavour of this morning in this session, is that Warwick student experience. So let's start off by having a look at the teaching and learning experience. Warwick is a research-led university. That is to say that you'll be taught by academics who are at the cutting edge of their subjects. And that's a really exciting way to learn. These are people who write the textbooks. So you'll be surrounded by staff and students who are as excited about the subject as you are. That said, it is a very different experience to being at school or even to being at sixth form. You'll be taught through a mixture of lectures, seminars, lab time if you're doing a science subject. So I'm going to hand over to our students now who will just give you a flavour of what it's like to study at uni. Laura, would you like to kick off on this one? Laura? I might have lost Laura. Rachel, would you like to kick off?
Yeah, hi. So, in terms of like being taught at Warwick, one thing that I really love is the amount of contact hours and the accessibility of your lecturers and seminar tutors. So, one thing that's quite great is every single person who teaches at Warwick, they have office hours. So, aside from any support you do get within the classes and within the lectures, you can also meet teachers in their office hours and get further clarifications. There are also a lot of opportunities for independent reading, and I believe Warwick's always like stretching us to ensure that we are, looking into the further readings and engaging in our modules. I think as well the wide range of modules that are also offered at Warwick is quite amazing. Not just within your own course, but you can also with the permission of your department, also take modules from different departments. So, for example, I studied law, but I also took 2 modules from WBS, which is the business school at Warwick.
And talking of WBS, Shidij is a student there doing management. Do you want us to give a flavour of your studies?
Yeah, so I'm studying management. I've studied it for 3 years, and it's a very flexible degree. And that's what I love about being at Warwick is that studies have been made so flexible for us. We can choose modules from other departments. One thing that really stood out to me for Warwick is when I came to the country. Obviously, I'm from a different educational system, so for a lot of people transitioning into such a high grade university, such world class education can be tough, and I found it tough as well. But all my professors, everyone at WBS, and everyone in Warwick in general, all the professors, all the teachers were very supportive, and they really made the transition very easy. I never felt that I was behind my other peers or the people from the UK who had joined. So I feel like all the educational support is top notch, and they keep supporting you throughout the year. In terms of, I saw a question about being in lessons. Personally, I have 8 hours per week, but that keeps on changing from course to course. Yeah.
Great, thank you. And Zhao, you're also over in the business school, aren't you? Is there anything you want to add? Zhao, can you hear me?
Just looks like you're on mute, Zhao.
Oh, sorry. Yep. Yeah, I would add on something about the lecturer. So most of our modules are taught by academia, and which they are really expert in their respective field. So I think this is something really great about for as in like a Warwick Business School, because you are actually taught by the people who actually maybe wrote a book or who published their research in the journal. So this is really nice, as in you get to learn from people that are really expert in their field.
Brilliant, thank you. And last but not least, back to you.
Yeah, just to add on to that, I completely agree. Like when it comes to teaching, it's a lot more independent research you have to do, but you're not on your own because you're aided by all your tutors and module conveners. So it's really good.
Absolutely. It is a very supportive environment. And each of you will have your own personal tutor who's there to support you throughout your time at the university. And somebody you can talk to if you have any problems along the way. So that's a bit about the teaching and learning experience from our students. I'm going to ask Heather now, if you wouldn't mind playing our teaching excellence video, and you'll hear from some of our amazing academics.
That's fine. I'll play the teaching video now. Just a reminder to all of the participants, just to turn mics off, just so there's no feedback. I'm just going to try and play again because it just seems to be a bit of a buffer on it. So just bear with me, Mo.
If I was a student, I'd be choosing Warwick because of the community here. We create spaces in which we can learn with and from each other, and so we have a culture of learning here which really explores issues that matter and issues that matter to us as well.
I don't know anywhere that has the enthusiasm that we have. I've taught at different universities, I've been a student at different universities. For me, what's so special about Warwick is how excited we are all to be here. We love what we do and we love learning from the students. And I think being in that environment for a student is one of the most inspirational, exciting places you can be.
What I would say about the students is that they do inspire me with their energy. They have a fantastic energy, they have a really fantastic way of integrating different technologies and using them imaginatively, and that ties in with the kind of opportunity for us to work innovatively with the students and find new ways of teaching and new ways of assessing.
That spirit of innovation and willingness to try something new is something incredibly precious in higher education.
Warwick sincerely invests in its teaching. There's so many staff who are dedicated to improving their educational practice and providing the best learning opportunities, the best learning experiences that students can have. It's a supportive culture for teaching, and I think that's something that the students respond to.
We are privileged to be surrounded by world-leading research groups, so we can bring our research insights into the teaching. So I do infuse, research-led teaching in the classroom.
We've got this really high quality level of research that goes on at the university that's then reflected in our teaching, and we, a lot of places I think pay lip service to the idea that they're doing research-led teaching, but at Warwick it's a reality.
We give a lot to the students and we get so much back from them that it is really just like being in a conversation with some really interesting people, and we learn so much from each other. That's the thing that's exciting to me about being here.
Students, particularly in the third and fourth year, when you're dealing with kind of research and cutting edge material, they can ask questions that I don't know the answer to, that we collectively don't know the answer to. And one of the nice things about Warwick is I think it empowers students to go and try and find that answer with staff.
We have an incredible student cohort, very diverse, very international, and those differences bring a wonderful kind of richness to the classroom. Even if you arrive thinking that you're going to be one thing, what you soon quickly discover is that it's a place of growth, it's a place of discovery, and there are all sorts of kind of pathways and avenues and opportunities that open up.
We can create new worlds in education. We can understand the world that we're in better and develop new ways of understanding that mean that we can create meaningful change together. The questions that my students ask me influence me and make me reflect on a daily basis. They inspire me and they excite me, and that's why I love teaching.
So some of our inspiring academic staff there. Okay, so that's a bit about the teaching and learning experience, and our teaching excellence is matched by some pretty amazing teaching spaces. This is a picture taken inside the Oculus building, which is one of our new shared teaching and learning buildings on campus, and some huge lecture theatres in there, and that's one of the shared learning spaces you can see in the picture there. That's a relatively new building. Even newer than that is this one. This is our new Faculty of Arts building, otherwise known as the FAB, which is brand new on campus. It's home to all of our arts and humanities departments, and it is the most spectacular space. If you do get the chance to come and see us for an open day, do call into this building. It has black box studios, screening rooms, and this incredible sort of Harry Potter staircase that winds up the middle of it. So as I say, home to all of our arts and humanities departments, but anyone is welcome to go in there and study. So some pretty amazing teaching spaces on our campus. And I'd like to talk now a bit more about our campus generally. We are a campus-based university. That is to say that everything is on the one site. And we have some great spaces. Let's start off with social spaces, because the campus is a great place to to make friends. You can see in the picture here, this is our piazza, which is an outdoor social space. It's got a big video screen, and that's where students gather to watch big sports matches or the Eurovision Song Contest. We love the Eurovision at Warwick. We have our own bars, restaurants, even our own campus nightclub. This is the Copper Rooms you can see in action. We have our own grocery store, bank, cafes on campus. So it really is a self-contained community with everything you could possibly need on your doorstep. We're also fortunate to have lots of green space on campus as well. So if you want to go for a walk, get away from it all, then you can go for a stroll around our lovely lakes and woodland. Now, if any of you are keen on sport, you will like this. This is our brand new sports and wellness hub. £50 million development. It includes a 230-station gym, a 25-metre swimming pool, and one of the biggest climbing walls in the HE sector, which you can see in the picture there. Lots of opportunities to get involved in sport and exercise on campus, and we'll come back to that a bit later on. But if you're keen on arts and culture, you'll be well catered for as well. We have the Warwick Arts Centre on our campus, which is one of the biggest arts venues of its kind outside London. It has a concert hall, 2 theatres, 3 cinema screens, and an art gallery all under the one roof. And there's a really thriving music and drama scene at the university if you do want to get involved in that. Okay, I'm going to put our students on the spot now and ask them, where's your favourite place on campus? Laura, do you want to kick off on this one?
Yeah, sure. I really like the sports centre, like that bit, and that is just a really nice building overall. And there's Cryfield Hills, like right next to it, and I really like that spot. It's especially like in the spring and summertime. It's really pretty. Everyone's just having picnic there and stuff like that. So it's really a sweet spot.
It is a nice space, yeah. Judith, how about you?
So for me, I mean, I could go on about the places I really like, but probably my favorite in my first year when I was living on campus is probably the arts, not the art center, the esports center. And we didn't talk about this in the presentation, but the esports center is like one of the most popular places on campus. It's got multiple PS5s, it's got a driving simulator, PCs, and it's just a great place to go and escape after completing your studies, or if you're free on the weekend, just play PS5 for the entire day. So that's what I really enjoyed doing in my first year.
Yeah, the esports centre, that's a good one, yeah. Zhao, how about you? Where do you like to go on campus?
Hi, I think the biggest advantage that University of Warwick has is that they offer a lot of green space, which means that after a long day of study, you can have like a walk in the forest, you can have a walk beside the lake, just to have a relaxing time. So I think that really stands out to me.
Yeah, there are lots of really lovely green spaces, absolutely. And last but not least, Rachel, how about you?
For me, I think if I was to choose one place, I would choose Fab, just because I really like the staircase. Like, it's very impressive when looking at it. But yeah, Fab for me.
It's a good staircase. The Fab, incidentally, has won the award of West Midlands Building of the Year by REBA. So it's not just us saying that it's good. Okay, let's talk a bit more about your accommodation options, because I know this is a big worry about going to university. Whereabouts are you going to live? Nice thing about coming to Warwick is you can live right here on campus for your first year. And that's what the vast majority of our students choose to do. We have a variety of halls to suit different budgets, different personalities. Some of them have ensuite bathrooms, some don't. But at the end of the day, they're all really nice places to live. And I would encourage you to live in halls for your first year, because it's a great way to settle in, get to know people, and really enjoy everything that campus has to offer on your doorstep. Rachel, let's go back to you. Do you want to tell us a little bit about living in halls?
Yeah, so like I said, I'm currently in my third year of university, but in my first year, I did live on Sherborne accommodation, and personally, I really liked it because, like mentioned earlier, we are a campus uni. So living on campus means that everything is just accessible to you. Warwick is like its own little village almost because, like mentioned as well, you have your shop, you have your gym, like everything you can think of that you need will be at a walkable distance to you. And another thing I really liked is it really helped me to like join societies and make time for stuff just because I lived so close and could actually really feel the community at Warwick.
Laura, how about you? What was your experience of living in halls?
Last year, I lived in Crayfield Standard and I really enjoyed it. I had really nice flatmates. We got along really well. And yeah, we had like many like dinners together. We went out a lot together. So it was like a really nice little like flat situation. And it's also the fact that like overall, a lot of people are like wary of like sharing a bathroom with that many like strangers. But the thing is, like, it was completely fine. Our bathroom was cleaned 5 times a week, so it was all like very good. And everything was, yeah, so conveniently close. I really enjoyed it.
Awesome. Shidi, anything to add?
Now that I'm living off campus, I really, really miss my first year when I was living on campus. Honestly, the energy was different. Everyone was another student, so you'd bump into people from your class, from your friend circle, just randomly walking. There were so many things to do. Not that those things have decreased now, but just being on campus, you're accessible to so many things, so many society events happening. So I had a brilliant time living in campus, and yeah, I definitely recommend it to whoever's entering Warwick in their first year. Yeah.
So that's what most.
Sorry.
Go on.
There's just been a couple of questions in the chat about this, and I thought it would probably be best to address it while we're on the subject rather than later. Sure. And Josh has asked about the prices of accommodation, and then Kelsey asked also, like, is the accommodation far from the centre of Warwick?
Okay, great questions. Who wants to answer the one about prices? Raise a hand.
I mean,
well, there's a variety of halls on offer and a variety of prices too. Laura, do you want to tell us a little bit more?
Yeah, sure. So there's a wide range. In my year, like the cheapest options included Crayfield Standard, where I lived, which was a bit. I'm pretty sure the prices are slightly different now, but it's around 115, 16 pounds a week, probably. And yeah, so it ranges, but there's so the most expensive one is Bluebell, which is over £200 a week. But yeah, the thing is you can choose any accommodation that fits your budget. So you don't have to break your bank to live on campus, and you can just always choose to live in the more affordable ones. Yeah.
And Ja, I think the other question was how far are the halls from the sort of central campus? Do you want to talk to us about that?
Yep. There are a lot of accommodation actually in Warwick, so some of them are actually central campus, which is maybe like 5 minutes walk from like your lecture halls, your classes. But some of the en-suite rooms are a little bit further from the central campus, which means that you have like around 10 to 15 minutes walk to class. But along the way, you get to enjoy the scenery. You get to see a lot of geese and ducks, which I think is a good thing as well.
Absolutely. When you first come to Warwick, you'll think the campus looks absolutely huge. But you do get used to it, and in fact, you can walk pretty much anywhere within sort of 10 to 15 minutes, I would say. So it's it's fairly compact. Is that good? We covered those questions, Heather?
Perfect. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, so that's your first year where you're likely to be living in halls of residence. But what happens after that? Well, that brings me on to the local area. People have often asked me, where is Warwick? And I say, we're in the middle. We are right in the middle of England, which is a great place to be because it means that we're really accessible. If you want to go into London, that's just 1 hour away by train from Coventry. Birmingham is even closer. And in our local area, we have some fabulous towns, places like Warwick and Stratford-upon-Avon, lovely places to visit. Our local city, though, isn't Warwick. You might be surprised to hear. It is, in fact, Coventry. Coventry is a thriving student city with 2 universities, big student population, and lots going on, whatever you're into. That's the iconic Coventry Cathedral you can see in the picture there. And that's certainly one option for accommodation after your first year. The other one that's very popular with our students is Leamington Spa, which you can see in the picture now. A little bit further away from the campus, but it's a beautiful town full of boutique shops, bars, and cafes. Laura, I believe you're living in Leamington now. Do you want to tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, so I live in North Leamington Spa, and it's a really lovely town. It's full of cafes, restaurants, shops. There's loads of nightlife going on there, and yeah, a lot of the students choose to live there. And actually, it's like a 20-minute bus ride away, so it's not bad at all. And yeah, it's a really lovely town, so I really enjoy living there.
And Rachel, I think you're in Coventry, aren't you? So should we go back and you can tell us a bit more about Cov?
Yeah, so I currently live in Coventry, and it's only about 20 minutes maximum on the bus from where I live to Warwick, so it's quite accessible still to the campus. What I like living about here is that there's the town centre, so shopping is really easy to do. Recently, they just opened an Aldi near the train station, which is also close by to me, so there's a lot to kind of access and kind of move on with the daily living of life. So I do like living in Coventry, and like mentioned as well, there is the other university, Cov University, and it's quite nice because you get to meet people from a different university too, and really feel that student life regardless of where you are.
Fabulous. So yeah, 2 good options for accommodation there after your first year. And as I say, in the sort of wider local area, there's some really lovely places to visit, including the fantastic Warwick Castle, which you can see in the picture there. But whether you're living on or off campus, the heart of your social life is likely to be our Students' Union. We have a big Students' Union at Warwick, really active, lots of stuff going on. The Students' Union represents all of our students here at the university, runs a lot of the bars and the entertainments, and importantly, runs all of our clubs and societies. All kinds of things you can get involved in outside of the classroom during your time with us. And yeah, some of our students have done some interesting things. Shidich, do you want to tell us a little bit more about your clubs and societies experiences?
Yes, of course. So just to brief you guys about how societies work. So, of course, it's a collection of people with the same interest. And these interests are varying. It can be academic, it can be non-academic, it can be cultural. And I've luckily been in all 3 types of societies. There's sports as well, sports clubs, sports societies, and these societies, these clubs compete in the Bucks League, which is a league that runs throughout the year against many other universities. So for me, I've been in an academic society, which is 180 DC Consulting, where we were basically doing pro bono consulting, helping small businesses. It was more like a small work experience, and the university has many other societies like this that can help you sharpen your skills while you're also in a society-like environment. Then I'm an executive member in the Warwick India Forum, which is a cultural society. It's also an academic society, so it gives me the best of both worlds. I get to meet a lot of people from my country. I get to meet a lot of celebrities from my country because we organize events with them. So it's a thrilling experience. I met one of India's biggest comedians recently, so it's been an awesome experience. And then something that I'd like to do for fun is improv, and many other societies like this, based on what you're into, there are societies for singing, dancing, and I just happen to do for comedy, and they run weekly sessions. It's lots of fun. So with societies, you get to learn new skills, and you can make your social circle even bigger by interacting with lots of people.
Absolutely, it's a great way to meet new people. Yeah, Laura, you're in Eurosoc, aren't you? You want to tell us more about that?
Yeah, so I'm in the European Society, and it's actually a really nice place where like all European people gather. You don't even need to be European, and we have a bunch of events, both academic and non-academic socials, and it's really fun to be part of a community in that sense.
And Rachel, do you want to tell us a little bit more about what you're involved in?
Yeah, so the two main societies I was part of was African Caribbean Society, where I served as part of the events team, and we held events such as AfroFest, which is one of the biggest Afro-Caribbean events on campus, and it was actually held in the Copper Rooms. We had like a whole production, and it was our members that did it, so people who had never acted or danced before got to learn how to do all these different stuff within the space of 5 weeks, and we all performed, and it was amazing. Another society I'm actually part of as well is the 93% Club, which is about social mobility and ensuring the gap between private and state school students. It's kind of just adjusted and to ensure that everyone feels supported on their journey.
So I hope that's just giving you a flavour of some of the multitude of things you can get involved in outside of the classroom here at Warwick. 3 good reasons for joining a club or a society. Number 1, it's a good way to meet people, as we've said, and make new friends. Number 2, you can get to try something new, maybe something you've never ever done before. And number 3, when you finish your time at Warwick, you will be looking for a job. And employers will want to see you've got a good degree from a good university. Of course they will. But they'll also want to see that you're somebody with a bit of get up and go, who's really sort of immersed themselves in student life and done some interesting things during their time there. And I think that's why Warwick students tend to do so well in the world of work, because they've got this whole wealth of student experience to offer. And along the way, there are lots of opportunities to build up your employable skills. Zhao, I think you've just come back from an industrial placement down in London. Do you want to tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. I have done my industrial placement with UBS, the Switzerland bank in London. I was working in risk management, so it helps me to open out my knowledge in terms of the banking industry, as I have no prior experience with the bank or like within the industry. Besides that, I think Warwick has actually provided good career support. They actually prepared me for the interviews, prepared me for the online assessment, and so on. So I think it is really great that the uni has actually enough resources for you to use before you actually go for the interviews.
Great, thank you. And Chidij, you've done some summer internships, haven't you? Want to tell us more?
Yeah, so I did a summer internship in my first year in India with EY, if you've heard of those, if you've heard of that firm. And in my second year, I did a virtual internship with Deloitte. And I can guarantee you the university is so supportive in you getting these high level placements, because for me, it was quite an intimidating experience. I had no experience of applications, and my CV was pretty thin at the start of my first year. But I found out about the careers team at Warwick, and they were helpful throughout the year, throughout both years, and provided feedback at every stage. They helped me tailor my CV to the exact applications. They helped me prepare for interviews. So all in all, I can say the university was very supportive in my journey to securing placements. Even now that I'm applying for graduate roles, I constantly keep checking in with the careers advisor in my department at WBS, as well as the general universities team. So they keep helping you throughout, and it's a very supportive system.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Thank you to the 4 students. We will come back in a few moments for a question and answer session. Before that, Heather, could I just ask you to run the other video, please?
Yeah, sure. I'll do it now for you. Just a reminder for mics off.
It's time for change.
So get ready.
Don't fear the future.
Embrace it.
Join a community
where your voice matters.
Learn from experts.
Choose your own path.
Change your world. Change the world.
Prepare for anywhere.
From Warwick, anywhere.
Fantastic. So I'm going to open it up to a question and answer session now, and I think Heather is going to be joining us for this.
Absolutely. Hello. Right then, there's been loads of really good questions that have come through, and what I'll do first of all is I'll just loop Rachel into one, because we were just talking about societies, and there was a question specifically about the 93% club. So I think I'll address that first and then start kind of like from the beginning. So Kelsey said, are societies run by companies outside of the uni? She said, I heard you mention the 93% club and I thought they were an external organisation, so I'm just interested. Also, can students set up their own societies?
Yeah, so in terms of the 93% club specifically, there is what you call a national, which means an overarching branch, but at each campus you can have your own society. And whilst we do get support from the national branch, it is very still student-led. So, for example, I'm the secretary of the team, and we do a lot of handwork on and can choose the kind of things and schemes that we kind of implement throughout the society. So, for example, we did cost of living work. We've done a lot of charitable stuff too, a lot of mentorship for local schools, such as ones in Leamington. And also in terms of also setting up your own society, that is possible. So the SU do have some like regulations around how that kind of works, such as maybe like getting a few friends together who also want to join the society, but it is very possible to start your own society. I've had friends that have started cultural societies, academic societies, language speaking societies, so anything is really kind of possible. If you do look on our website as well, there is a wide range of societies, even things including cheese eating, so there is a lot to get involved with and start up. But yeah,
I'm totally here for the cheese eating one. Right then, so still on the subject of societies, a couple of other questions. Lexi asked, do you have to pay to join societies? And then Ahmed asked, is there a difference between clubs and societies? Rachel, do you want to go with that one?
Yeah, sorry, could you please repeat the first part of the question again?
Yeah, sure. It's, do you have to pay to join a society?
Yeah, so with societies, each one would have their different fees. So firstly, there is the SU fee that you pay, which is usually quite affordable, around £20-ish. And then each society will then have its own contributions. I know the ones like regarding sports may have a higher like setup amount, but there is a lot of support regarding that. For example, if you've like a Warwick scholar, there would be support in terms of that specifically. Also, there are some societies that are completely free. So, for example, the 93% Club is actually one of the societies where there is no fees attached, because it is really revolved around social mobility.
Wonderful, thank you. And moving away from society, that was it actually. Is there a difference between societies and clubs?
So most clubs are still societies, but I think it's more of a name thing, unless it is like a place where you are maybe playing against other teams, etc. But there isn't much difference from what I understand.
The clubs are the sports clubs, essentially.
Right.
The societies are the non-sports.
Perfect, thank you. Right, and so now moving away from societies and clubs, Shadish, there was a question specifically for you, and it was about what company do you want to work for after graduating? Amy is also interested in business and finance, you see.
Right. So what I'm hoping for is maybe a consulting and a strategy role in one of the big four accounting companies, which is Deloitte, KPMG, PwC, and EY, or maybe in the top three consulting companies, which is Bain, McKinsey, BCG. Of course, these are very competitive and tough to get into, but I'm keeping my hopes high. I'm working hard towards it. I have a few assessment centers lined up, so it's a tough process. But if you keep working hard, if you start applying early, your chances get better. So yeah, hopefully I get it.
Great advice there. And I'll stick with you for this question, and I'll also loop Xiao into this as well, because there was a question from Mo who said, how did you find living away from parents, and what is your experience as an international student?
So personally, the first month was very difficult. I'm particularly attached to my parents and my family, so it was quite hard living in university. Being a 9-hour flight away from them, being 5.5 hours away in time difference. So when it was their morning, it was my night. So it was very hard to communicate at times. But as soon as you start building your confidence, you start making friends, you start going out a little more, you get a little, you adapt to the university atmosphere, it becomes very easy. I haven't faced any homesickness since maybe the first month of university. There's the occasional day where I feel like I want to go home, but you get your breaks in which you can go back home. And even now, I sometimes don't travel back home during my breaks. As long as you're in touch with your family regularly, it's an easy transition. You just need a good set of friends. That would be my answer.
That's a wonderful answer as well, and thank God for technology, because
Yes.
it is so easy to just communicate so often, isn't it? But yeah, thank you. Xiao, what about you?
Yeah, I think for me, it is not the most difficult part because I actually live away from my family even before I start uni. But however, I would say in uni, you need to be prepared to manage your own life. You need to start learn to cook and start to do all the house chores. So that is something that you basically need to learn when you come to uni, because Warwick is a catering uni. So definitely start to learn cooking is something you would like to consider before coming to uni, so that you don't really you I mean, you have food options in uni, but I would say maybe half of the time you start to learn how to cook and how to do a lot of stuff without your help from parents.
You know, so many people actually say in later life, I won't give away my age, but when you talk about people and cooking and you say, well, how did you learn to cook? So many people actually say at uni, because it's the first time where you have to go and, you know, you're forced to do it. That leads me nicely to a question, actually. Stephen, maybe you want to just answer this because it's probably a quick yes or no, actually. And it was around accommodation and whether oh gosh, I can't find it now. I can't remember the exact wording, but it was essentially kind of cooking utensils and other things like that included in the accommodation.
So in work, I think you need to bring your own cooking utensils. You can also get it from Tesco or Lidl, just around 10 minutes walk away from the uni. So you can also share that with your flatmates. It still depends on your own preference.
Wonderful, thank you. I'll move on to a question for Stephen here. You would have all had this experience, but I'm sure your experiences will all be very different. So Lexi asked whether the tutors that the students have industry experience. So for example, with Rachel, would her teacher or, have been a barrister, for example, previously, things like that.
You certainly taught by
Can I answer
experts.
this?
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead.
So yeah, sorry, my bad, Stephen. But this year, recently I started background researching every professor that teaches me, and I either most of them are highly educated or have worked at top places. I'll give you an example. My supply chain professor was at one point handling the entire supply chain of Samsung in Italy, Spain, and Portugal. So he was handling that area. My marketing professor was working for Diageo as one of the top marketing executives, which is a liquor company. So recently, now that I've started noticing this, I've realized that I have a lot of professors who've actually worked in these industries and have practical hands-on experience, and they often give you instances from their work lives, and it's quite enriching. You get to learn how the industry actually works. That's for my course at least.
Wonderful, thank you. Does anyone have anything else to add on that one? Okay, no, that's good. Right then, so we did speak about the campus and the surrounding areas, and I think there was a lot of detail around that, but I think it's always good to clarify. Asha said, is the campus big? I suppose you could ask what is big, but yes, Stephen, would you be able to just give a little bit of context to the size?
Yeah, well, as I mentioned in the talk, it probably will seem quite overwhelming when you first arrive because it looks enormous, but actually you can find your way around pretty quickly. And I would say you can walk from one side to the other in about 15 minutes, to give you an idea of the scale. It's also really well connected with the local area. We have a bus hub in the middle of the campus, and buses go in and out of Coventry and Leamington all the time. So you're not confined to the campus. It's very accessible for the local towns and cities.
Right. And there was another question. You've done a brilliant segue for me there about Coventry and Leamington. And the question was, and it related to these areas, are they quite busy areas or quite relaxed and chilled?
Well, it's probably one for our students.
Yeah, Laura's in Leamington, isn't she?
Yes, absolutely. Do you want to kick off, Laura?
Yeah, so I think it really depends on like whether it's peak time or not. But the thing about Leamington Spa, it has like a market every single Sunday, and it has many events going on. It feels like a small little town, but it is actually quite lively. So it's a kind of a balance of these two, which is really nice, and it makes it really like enjoyable to live there.
Rachel's in Coventry. Do you want to give us a quick flavour of life in Coventry?
Yeah, so in Coventry, I think like Laura said, there are more peak times. So for example, if you're in town at 3:30 when everyone's going home for either work or school, you will bump into more people. So the areas are quite busy, but then they can also be quite quiet at times. So it kind of just depends on the time that you kind of go out in the day.
Great advice, thank you. Right then, Lexi's asked, when are the open days and is it better to go in person or virtual?
That's a great question. Shall I take that one? So you've missed our open days for this year, but our next full-scale open days will be next June. It'll be 2 Saturdays next June. And then there'll be another 2 in October as well. So there'll be 4 opportunities to visit us in person next year. If you can't make those open day dates for any reason, we do run regular talk and tours, as we call them, which is a campus tour with one of our current students and a bit of a talk about the university. And there will be options to engage virtually as well. So keep an eye on our website for those. But if it's all possible, I would encourage you to come to one of our full-scale open days because it's a brilliant way to see the campus, meet the staff, meet the students, and really get a feel for the place.
I would say that that's one thing that's really come out of this week, actually, is that there is so much that you can do, like activities like this, like you do get a feel for a place, but it isn't until you actually are physically in an area. If you can, if you're able to do it, then do, I think is what I've got out of this, because you can just feel like whether you can see yourself somewhere or not. Okay, wonderful. There's been a question about how an application would be made by an international student. Have we got any information on that?
Well, shall I start on that one? International students apply in exactly the same way as home students. So that is through the UCAS application service. So if, let's say you're applying for entry next autumn, then you would be applying now. And yeah, you apply in the same way as a home student. So there are various sections to the form. That said, we have two international students here. Shidit, do you want to add anything from your perspective?
So for me, while applying, it wasn't really like the whole process, the mechanism itself was not tough. The only part that I found difficult was writing your personal statement, because it's so critical for your application, and that applies for domestic students as well. Just nail your personal statement. Talk about your experiences, what you've learned throughout your school. Display your interest regarding your subject. It's critical, because the places where I got rejected, I only got rejected from London School of Economics, and that was the feedback that I got, is that for them, I feel like for them, they felt like I could not express my interest in the subject that well. So that's an advice I would give to everyone here, is that absolutely nail your personal statement.
That's wonderful advice. Thank you. Was anybody else got anything that they'd like to add? Shal, would you like to add anything on the application process as an international student?
Just to add on that, I think the mechanism itself is easy, but the most important thing, that is the university of choice. So make sure you understand how the uni is, and also attend more webinars like this to understand what kind of uni you are actually you are looking for. So for example, University of Warwick is a campus-based uni. So if you are someone who really likes have the sense of community, then Warwick is a good choice, obviously.
Wonderful, thank you. Stephen, there was a question, and I guess this is so overarching, I'm not sure how you would answer it, but Kelsey asked, is Warwick hard to get into?
Oh, great question. Thank you for that. I mean, we are a selective university, but don't let that put you off. In terms of what we're looking for in an application, we'll be looking at your predicted grades as well as your achieved grades. We'll be looking at your personal statement and your teacher's reference, and we take all of those factors into account when we're making an application. As Shidit was just telling us, the personal statement is quite an important part of the application, so do put a bit of work into that. We want to hear all about your motivation for studying the course, any wider reading and research you've done around the subject. We want to show that, we want to see that real sort of incentive to study the subject, essentially. So yeah, do work on your personal statement. But if you can write a good personal statement and you can get the grades that we're asking for, there's no reason why you shouldn't be accepted onto the course.
Great stuff. And I think, yes, this is another thing that's like a golden thread that's been woven throughout this week, which is personal statements, and to do as much research about how to write a compelling one, because it just seems like they can, well, this doesn't seem, they are obviously so powerful. Lily asked, do you have any subjects which are more highly ranked than others?
It all depends which league tables you're looking at. Lots of our subjects are in the high rankings of the league tables. I guess we're very well known for subjects like economics and business and maths, but we are really strong across the board. We have 3 faculties: arts and humanities, social science, and science, medicine and engineering. And so we are really strong across the board, I would say.
Great stuff. Shidit, from everything that you've said, I would definitely say that you have completely embraced university life and approached it completely with open arms and taken every opportunity to meet people. So I am going to put this question to you, even though I feel that you'd all obviously be in a position to answer it. So Ahmed said, do you make friends better with people that are lived in your halls or people from your class? I'd probably add in as well, do you think societies as well, where do you tend to meet the best of your friends?
Okay, honestly, it's a blend of everything. So I think your first contact, your first friends are always your flatmates. For me, it was the same thing. I when you just enter university, and you have no experience talking to anyone else, your flatmates are your first point of contact. Once you start talking to them, getting to know them well, it becomes a nice relationship. It's like a small family. You're living together. You're spending most of your time together at university. Alongside that, you meet people from your own culture, nationality, interests. So, for example, I have a lot of Indian friends, and I'm currently living with Indian friends that I made outside of my flat. And you keep meeting these people all over. You meet them in societies, you meet them in classes. You make friends through friends. Like people introduce you to other people, and then you become close friends. So there's lots of avenues for making friends. Society is probably a big one. I would say I haven't made a lot of new friends in third year. I have a pretty set circle, but the ones that I have made have come through my society. Again, because you have common interests, you spend a lot of time working. So with that comes an informal relationship. So there's lots of avenues, and it's not just there. You keep going for other events outside of university. You meet people there. So there's plenty of opportunities to make friends. There are 28,000 people at Warwick. For example, there will be someone like you, and I was never doubtful about not making friends, because I heard that statistic from one of my seniors, is that when there are 28,000 people, there will definitely be someone like you. So rest assured, you'll be able to make friends.
Absolutely, and wonderful question again. Answer again, sorry. Right then, we're on the last 4 minutes of the session, and what I think would be probably best for me to do is to pose this question to all of the students here, and it's a very simple question, and I suppose we could go into far more detail. But Ahmed has asked, have you enjoyed your time at Warwick so far? And I think that would be a great way to end the session. Laura, can I start with you?
Of course. Yes, overall, absolutely yes. The thing is, it's on the one hand, obviously, you're here to study, but on the other hand, there's so much more than that to work. Like when it comes to social life, it's just, I think, unbeatable. Like you're on a campus, you're surrounded by work students all the time, which makes it really easy to make friends. We have so many events going on, we have so many opportunities. So, yes, overall, absolutely.
Wonderful, thank you. Rachel?
Yeah, so in terms of the question, I would definitely say Warwick is an experience. And I believe that experience has fulfilled every part of my life that needed to kind of move forward. So from making friends, because I came to uni not knowing anyone at Warwick, but I've been able to make friends and have a community, to progressing in my career. I did an internship this summer, received a grad offer, to taking on leadership roles, getting involved with different work, getting involved with different movements. There's just so much. I even think there's more that I haven't got involved with. So I'm always looking out for the last few things within my last final year. But I definitely enjoyed my experience.
Wonderful, thank you. Shao, what would you say about how you've enjoyed Warwick so far?
Yeah, I think for me, I really enjoy Warwick as in they provide good teaching resources, but at the same time, for the non-academic aspects, we have like a very nice campus. We have like a very relaxing social space as well. But most importantly, University of Warwick actually prepared me well for my career. And also I'm able to get an industrial placement under the help of the uni. So I think I really like Warwick and maybe I will say it is one of the like best part of my life.
Brilliant, wonderful, thank you. And finally, we'll finish with you, Shadish. What would you say your experience has been so far?
I am dreading the fact that I'll be leaving university in, I don't know, 7 months. I absolutely loved my time here at Warwick. I am going to miss the place so much. All the friends that I've made, all the experiences, all the new skills, the things that I've studied, professors, everyone that I've met. It's going to be hard to say goodbye, but the whole experience has been magical. I've learned so many new things. I've grown so much from the time I came September 2021 to now. And just overall, I'm very grateful that I was here at Warwick. I didn't go to any other university. And I could not recommend this place anymore. Yeah.
Oh, that's quite emotional, actually. What a lovely thing to say, and what a lovely experience. I'm so happy for you, and I actually really hope. I'd be so interested to see where your career and your next steps take you. Absolutely. Right. Well, it's the end of the session now. I will just hand over to Stephen for a few final words before we kind of close off. But just from my perspective, I would just like to, first of all, thank everybody who's attended and have asked all brilliant questions in the chat. And I hope that you've got everything out of this that you needed. But also to you, the panelists here, you've contributed perfectly, and you've been so inspiring, and it's been really interesting to hear such a wide range of different experiences as well. So thank you from Career Map for coming and putting the time to do this. But Stephen, just over to you just for a final word before we close off.
Yeah, just a big thank you to our 4 fabulous students and to all of you for joining us today. We hope to see you at Warwick in the not too distant future. In the meantime, take care. Thank you.
Absolutely. Take care, everybody. Thank you.